Hello, consumers of professional wrestling, and welcome to Receipt Radio, a wrestling podcast I've tried to get off the ground at least a half a dozen times. I could promise you that this time will be different, but let's be honest, that will probably be a total lie. Regardless, my name's Dan, and I run a blog called Potato and Receipt, and this will be my complimenting podcast. As I said, Receipt Radio. I thank you immediately for taking the time to listen and for taking the journey with me. And I hope I can get plenty of content coming your way, be it via this podcast or my blog, potatoandreceipt.com. And yeah, the goal being to give a little shine to Australian and New Zealand wrestling as best I can, who, in my mind, they work their absolute guts out to bring us some of the best entertainment money can buy. So it's just my way of trying to return the favour in the very small way that I can. On this first episode, I'd like to give you some background about who I am and my love for wrestling. I want to talk about the Divine War, which was a little short put out by IPW, Shaw vs. Valentine. I also want to talk about Daddy vs. Wahlberg. Also want to talk about Pro Wrestling Darwin from the Ground Up, a documentary. The pro wrestler response to the tragic death of George Floyd. And I also want to talk COVID-19 and some of the innovations or adaptations from wrestlers, promotions, and wrestling schools. So let's get this thing going without any further ado. Again, my name is Dan, I'm 32, and I've been a big wrestling fan ever since I was a small kid. My first memories of wrestling were watching the Turner Classic Movies channel on Optus Vision, showing my age here a little bit. I used to watch that with my grandma, waiting for WCW to start, and then remember being enthralled by the chaos and the action. And soon enough, it was only a matter of time. I caught on to WWF and WWE, which was on Fox Sports and then Fox 8. And my teen years were then dominated by wrestling, by everything WWE and their ruthless aggression era. When I finished high school in the mid-2000s, I got my first taste of Australian wrestling. I got introduced to the AWF and to characters such as TNT, forgive my pronunciation there, Il Incognito, apologies, Frankie Fettuccine, Mint Condition Mick Moretti, and so many more. I'm never going to live that down. I lost touch with it though after a while due to a combination of factors, including my mental health. But I did get myself right and got back into local wrestling when PWA hosted the unforgettable, and I really do mean unforgettable, PWA Cross Progress collaboration event at the Star in Sydney. Following that show, I don't think I've missed the PWA Black Label show since. I love it. I love wrestling and the community that it is capable of being, and also enjoy being creative. Hence, Potato and Receipt. I hope to provide some positivity as a fan, and do my best not to be an armchair quarterback. So if you catch me doing that, please call me out. Some goals of mine with this: regular articles written, podcasts. I was doing some profiles there. I definitely want to get back into that as well. And I thank the wrestlers and talent who agreed to do that already. They are on my website, and I plan to do some more. And then even when some of the restrictions ease and health allows, maybe some meetups. If I get a bit of a following of people that want to meet up and talk. And maybe even doing some trivia nights, maybe. Hopefully I can achieve some of these goals, and if you would like to collaborate with me on any of these or any other ideas that you might have in any way, please reach out, as I'd love to work with you. I don't want anything in return. I just want to flex my creative muscle, and particularly if it's related to wrestling, something I'm passionate about. I'm all over it. I'd also like to hear from you guys about your journey. I've shared a bit about my story. So if you'd like to tell me about yours, please reach out. I'll give you my social handle at the end. if you don't follow me already, and we can chat. Okay, let's move right along to something religious, something spiritual, something divine. And of course, I am talking about the divine war between James Shaw and Alfred Valentine. It is available for free right now on Fight, and I highly recommend you check it out. It aired this past weekend, and like I said, get on there and give it a watch, maybe even right now. Shaw and Valentine, if you weren't sure, are the IPW New Zealand Tag Team Champions, but have been a rather dysfunctional team, if we're quite honest, and they were going to come to blows. And this led to the man of the cloth and the conduit of the divine light, James Shaw, challenging Alfred Valentine to a divine war. I know what you're thinking. What the hell is a divine war? Now, I don't have the actual definition of what it is, but what I can tell you is, in my view, it's a cinematic masterstroke from the team at IPW. It is in the vein of Final Deletion and some of these cinematic matches that we've come to see in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a great combination of action, comedy, supernatural, and it was so incredibly enjoyable. It's only 10 minutes long, it's outrageous, it's wild, and if you are not entertained by this short film, there is seriously something wrong. I don't really want to spoil it too much because it is only 10 minutes and it is worth checking out. You don't need great analysis from somebody on this. You just need to go in there with an open mind, and I think you'll be surprised and you'll find yourself really enjoying it. So that's on Fight TV. Like I said, if you search Divine War Shaw versus Valentine, you'll get that one. And like I said, really is a superb contest. Speaking of cinematic and entertaining, though, also free on YouTube, Ben Anderson, who's done a lot of the promos for the likes of PWA. He did some stuff for New Japan with Robbie Eagles versus Will Ospreay, the Matty Wahlberg little docu series, the 21st Century Success Story series, and the lead up to UGG versus Wahlberg for the PWA Championship. Well, this is a little short film that had been done, I believe, when Rat Daddy was in town in Sydney last year. It was recorded, as PWA said, pre-coronavirus restrictions. Rat Daddy didn't sneak into New South Wales to film this one. Look, pretty much this is PWA Dojo wasn't big enough for the two of them, and there was a score that had to be settled. There was only one way that it could be done, and that is beer pong. Again, another epic. It's about 8 minutes long. It's featuring all the antics that you have come to expect from a halftime at a PWA show featuring beer pong. There's drug use. Mate, that ending, just like chef's kiss, the trick shots, all the, it's great. You just have to check it out. And like I said, I, yeah, the master Ben Anderson right now. He everything that he does is just so good. I can't commend the guy enough. Just go onto YouTube, give him a follow. I believe it's called Ben Anderson Films is his channel. Get on there, give him a subscribe. I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of fantastic content, I should say, coming from the mind of that man. He's very smart, very, very creative, and he's working with some pretty creative people as well. So I'm sure that all of those heads together are coming up with some pretty special stuff. As you can see, you don't need to take my word for it. Go and check out this film. It really is fantastic. Rat Daddy, as a wrestler, I honestly believe he could have his own feature length fictional film. I know there was a Kickstarter, a bit of a documentary about wrestling in Adelaide that was going to focus on him a little bit. But he could honestly have his own fictional film, and it would be a cult classic. You could probably put a bunch of his promos together to make a film dead set. But like all of these things, the villains are always great as well, and Wahlberg is a dead set star in this one. His facial expressions in particular are just amazing. Um, AJ Istria previously has always been the thorn in the side of Rat Daddy as well. They've had a unique relationship, and he's been superb too. So I'm just going to give him a bit of a shout out as well. But yeah, Wahlberg in this one's fantastic. All the crew at PWA, and then obviously Rat Daddy, superstar. So honestly, these two things, they're worth the 20 to 30 minutes of your time. So again, that is the Divine War on Fight. And then if you just search Wahlberg versus Daddy on YouTube, I think it's Wahlberg v Daddy on YouTube. That's Ben Anderson Films with that one. Give them a follow. If you're on Fight, go onto IPW. Give them a follow as well. They've got heaps of their content on there for free too, and also some of their bigger events you can rent and watch too. So check those out. They were both really fantastic, and I was so very entertained by them. Another superb piece of content available for your viewing pleasure right now for free on YouTube as well is a tremendous documentary. It's titled From the Ground Up, and it's from Pro Wrestling Darwin. So basically, documents their inception, first three shows with all the trials and tribulations in between. Um, it is a really special insight that you don't often get behind the curtain, particularly um, featuring the issues with the ring. There were some date clashes there as well. There's injuries. It's a brand new promotion. You get a bit about the relationship with EPW. Um, you know, what really got me is you hear the passion in the voices of the students of Pro Wrestling Darwin while speaking so highly of the wonderful talent that have gone to Darwin for these shows, who have really provided time to really mentor the talent as well. The likes of the Godfather Data Storm, the real wrestler Gavin McGavin, Marcus Pitt, Alex Kingston, Sid Parker, Erica Reed, Caveman Ugg, Damian Slater. Um, is a must watch in my view. And afterwards, you can actually watch the three events as well, which are up in full on the Pro Wrestling Darwin YouTube channel. I've actually started watching Evolve or Dissolve, which featured David Storm, TMDK enforcer Marcus Pitt, and the Northern Territory's own real wrestler Gavin McGavin. Although if you go off the promo at the start, maybe the Northern Territory will disown him after that one. It is the very first Super Triad series. So those three guys headline this round robin tournament where each of the wrestlers wrestles each other, and at the end of the night, it'll be determined the Super Triad series winner. And after watching the doco over the weekend, I was thinking about who I'd like to see in a Super Triad series. So the first one that came to mind for mine, and it would be different for other people, but honestly, seeing the nations go so well in the King of Trios, I've seen Jack Bonza versus Mick Moretti for the Coliseum tournament final, but I would like to see Jack Bonza versus Mick Moretti versus Adam Hoffman in a trio situation, a Super Triad scenario, I should say. I think that would be a superb Triad series, and they would blow the roof off the venue there for Pro Wrestling Darwin. I think it's called the Browns Mart. But that's who I think. Who would you like to see? Hit me up in the socials. Again, I'll give my handle at the end. I'd really love to know who you think of who would be awesome in a Super Triad series. I'd also like to see one between Bonzo, AJ Istria, and Damian Slater. I know Damian Slater's competed and won the Super Triad series, so that may rule him out, but I'd love to see that as well. I reckon that would be a grappling masterclass for all. Now I'd like to address one of the major events in the world, and it is an event that has occurred due to a systemic issue in society, and that is the death of George Floyd. This man's death has sparked a public outcry, and I'd like to say all lives won't matter until Black Lives Matter, and extend my condolences to the Floyd family and to all those who have lost their lives meaninglessly due to systemic racism in our society. As a white man with privilege as such, I will never truly understand what it is like to be discriminated against, but I will do my best to learn, particularly about the systemic racism that affects Indigenous Australians every day of their lives. I'd really like to take the opportunity to commend promotions, podcasts, and talent alike who have used their voice to help bring awareness to the issue and have tried to raise money for the cause or provide a platform for discussion, share resources. It's been truly inspiring to see, and I just wanted to provide some of the examples that I've seen. So I'm not going to get everybody, and I'm sorry that if I don't mention you personally, I may not have seen it. If you put in the work, thank you so much. So Gino Gambino, Jessica Troy, Kingsley, Charlie Evans, Jack Bonza, Shazza McKenzie, Bobby Bishop, Lucille Brawl, and Steph DeLander, and I'm sure others will be donating profits from their merchandise stores, with countless others sharing Black Lives Matter links or Indigenous resource links. The likes of EPW and PWA sharing resources for greater understanding of the issues at hand, with a particular focus on Australia's own Black history. I also wanted to give a special shout out to the On the Turnbuckle team, who I believe it was recorded just before this. They'll be recording a roundtable with Australian wrestlers Joel Bateman, Michelle Hasluck, Erica Reid, and David Storm, to discuss a range of topics and provide greater understanding of the issues facing Indigenous wrestlers and Indigenous people. So really thank you to all those mentioned and those I have not, who have done similar things. Thank you so much. The final topic I want to discuss tonight in relation to COVID-19 and the innovation wrestling schools, promotions, and wrestlers themselves have gone to continue engaging wrestlers. Sorry. I'll start that again, sorry. So COVID-19, and it's required some innovation from schools, wrestling schools, from promotions, from wrestlers themselves to either continue engaging audiences, or in the cases of schools, engaging their wrestlers as well during this time. It's been an unprecedented time. People have lost their jobs. I know wrestlers have actually lost their as they say, shoot job, which is terrible. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and to those that have been lucky enough to hold on to theirs, they've been locked down. They've been required to work from home in most cases, unless operationally necessary. There's been those on the front lines in health as well, and other industries, and I just quickly say thank you to them for their assistance and during this time, and it's been really appreciated. But yeah, it's been really interesting for wrestlers for those in the wrestling industry, I should say, to try and adapt to this situation. So some of the examples I've seen are the likes of Vicious Pursuit, led by Carlo Cannon, go online and provide an online delivered curriculum. And it seems to feature internationals and prominent pro wrestlers providing advice to his students. So I actually saw that in a video released by Vicious Pursuit very recently, so you can get on their YouTube page. I know Carlo Cannon was sharing that as well, so get on there and check that out. If I'm not mistaken, Jack J. Bonza stated on Pro Wrestling Audio, his podcast, that he and some of the incredibly experienced wrestlers at the Pro Wrestling Academy have been focusing on theory, which he sort of said often gets a little neglected in normal times. because you're focused on all that technique in ring and all that sort of stuff. But theory is incredibly important as well. So it's been good that they've had that opportunity. Promotions like PWA have been doing some cool stuff. They've been hosting watch parties of past events featuring wrestlers from both the promotion and interstate. Um, there was also a popular thing they did known as PWA movies, where a selection of movies that were available on streaming services were sort of put up for popular vote. You could vote for which one you liked, and then the winner would get played at a certain time on a certain date, usually a Saturday night. And you'd go through and tweet along and interact with your favourite wrestlers over social media. PWA also did I believe it's called Dungeons and Dropkicks over Twitch, which was a Dungeons and Dragons game featuring the likes of Mick Moretti, Harley Wonderland, referee Nick, which is really cool. We've also seen a number of wrestlers release podcasts that includes Shazza McKenzie with That's So Shazza, Headhunter Rig with Conversations with the Chief, Jack J. Bonza, Pro Wrestling Audio, and Robbie Eagles and the HVWA crew with Those Were the Days, which have all provided such fabulous insight into wrestling in our country. Quite a bit of history stuff in there, with the likes of Shazza and Bonza and that in the HVWA podcast, but also providing conversations with wrestlers and giving their journeys to professional wrestling, which I've always enjoyed hearing how they fell in love with it, just like all of us have. There's also been a number of fantastic promos on social media. Shout out to the Goober Report, their Maury Povich promo. I popped pretty hard for Maury Povich. I grew up watching a bit of that as my trash show on, I think it was on Arena channel on Foxtel. There's also been some Twitch streams. I'm sorry about my pronunciation there. Twitch streams with the likes of Nikki Van Blair. I think he was doing Love Island the Game. And then you also had the likes of PWA Game of Smash Sundays. You had Reese Angel doing some Twitch streams as well. Kellyanne I saw as well. So many more that I can't name. And I just want to commend all of those who have stayed motivated. Let's be honest, because I know in myself how much my mental health's taken a bit of a hit and how much it's taken me to get into a routine again, even just getting out of the house and exercising and doing all those bits and pieces, let alone trying to sell and to push. So, thank you to all of you guys, and you've inspired me to have a go here and try and record a terrible podcast. So you may thank yourself or blame yourself or whatever, but thank you. I know local wrestling's in really great shape with you guys, and it's really going to shoot out the gate when it can return, when guidelines and health restrictions allow us to. And on that note, I'll end the pilot of the fifth iteration of Receipt Radio. Thanks so much for listening. Please pass on any feedback you may have. You can find me on Twitter at POTATOANDRECEI1. So that's at Potato and Receipt1. Please give me a follow. And if you'd like to collaborate or chat on wrestling or anything, please get in touch. Thank you so much, and hope to have another episode for you soon with a bit more content. Take care, everybody, and stay safe. Thank you.